Hello everyone, welcome to Book Brewers 12th March 2022 edition. For those who are not familiar with this book club, it's nothing to be afraid of. This is an ordinary book club, but maybe the difference is we get to present the book that we read individually. So we don't just focus on one book. And also you can share about the book that you read last year, right? Or yesterday. So there's no rule about that. You can present maybe an article that you have read about something like that. Yeah. So there's not many rules that can limit what you can present. And also, although you cannot present, for example, you choose to be the observer, you can also ask questions and then participate. We'll have discussion about the topic of everyone's books, basically. Right? So feel free to participate. And then Donald was the founder of this Book Brewers Club. So he has access to the vision and mission. Maybe Donald, can you repeat our vision and mission?
Okay, thank you, Pipit. Our mission here at Book Brewers is cultivating the passion for lifelong learning. So we want to be a lifelong learner. Many people stop having this attitude of a learner after they graduate from school, but we want to keep this attitude for a lifetime. And not just an attitude, actually, it is a passion, and we want to cultivate this passion. So that is our motto, cultivating the passion for lifelong learning. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, cultivating the passion for lifelong learner, as a lifelong learner, right? Now, fun fact, there's no bahasa word for learner. Anyone can tell me in 5 seconds? What is the bahasa word for learner? One.
Belajar, no?
Belajar. Belajar.
Right, sorry? Pembelajar, I think.
Pembelajar. Have you heard that word before? Have you heard someone said pembelajar?
Just now.
There was a book in Bahasa Indonesia by Andreas Harifa with the title.
Pembelajar, ya?
Yeah, something about pembelajar. I read it all.
Pembelajar.
Pembelajaran, but that goes to show that learner in bahasa is very, in Indonesian language, in Indonesian culture is very, what is it called? Narrow definition, right? Because they usually assume those people who learn are just students, right? So there's no term learner outside school setting. So which is a bit shared. Yeah, I think there was a, yes, pembelajar. But if you, we should be familiar with the word by now, but I don't think it's that popular yet, at least. Yeah. So that's probably my take about how rare it is to be a learner culturally in bahasa. Okay, so we'll be the moderator for today. We usually take turns, and today happens to be my turn. And this is the questions. And if you want to share other information outside these questions, you are also free to do that. But this is just use it as a baseline. Tell us about the book you want to discuss. What's the best key lessons from it? Sometimes people also share why they chose the book among millions others, right? Is there anything you don't like about the book? I like this question because it makes us critical. You know, we really like a book, but usually there's something that we can suggest or disagree with the book. Yes, I find it odd if we 100% agree with someone's ideas, something like that. And then third one, what's your rating out of 5 stars? Not everyone actually love doing this. Like Donald doesn't like reading, but this is just to quantify the, we want to see how you really like it or you don't like it. Yeah. Any question from the audience? Then, and you also can give questions to the audience. For example, when you talk about a book about community, and then there's an interesting question in the book. Is it possible to love your own group without hating everyone else? For example, I think it's really good. I want to know everyone's opinion. Then you can also bring it to the discussion. And then next one, This is me. I'm looking forward to the next book. That's why I want you to, if you have an idea about what to read next, please also share it. Okay, I also put these questions on the chat box. Now I will call the first person, someone who has been a while not popping up. Edo, please start with your book.
Okay, so it's my first time. Okay, so the book that I would like to read is it's titled War of Attrition. So this is the subtitle is Fighting the First World War. So what is so special with the First World War is because the First World War is considered as the first modern war. So unlike the war that been fought by humanity for thousands of years, there is many things so unique in First World War. The first is when the previous war is conflict fought by professional, by military and government, without involving any civilian in the in the course of the war. But in the First World War, things become so complicated. It's not only a battlefront that need to be win, but also there is a home front. There is an industry to support all the military needs. There is also economy that need to be maintained. There is also new people that need to be bring into the battlefield. So there is a war that used to be something that become the only played by diplomat and military become things that played by the whole nation. So the stakes become too high, then the war easily becomes stalemate because the only thing to win a war is to exhaust your enemy. And when all the nation involved in war, it's not easy to exhaust the resource of your enemy. And that is what happened in the war of in the First World War. That's why we know that as the most catastrophe that happened in the century beside the Second World War. So what happened is when things started, it's easily become escalated. So war that normally fought by a handful of military, it become a war that fought by millions of people, even tens of millions. And what happened during that war is there is no person on the planet that knows how to manage millions of people into a warfare. So everything become trial and error. There is many casualty, millions of people die useless because some general think that they will try this tactic and then they change the course, they try this tactic and it failed and they change everything. Then that's why we see millions of casualty, more than 50 million die from the war itself. And also the aspect of the economy, when the belligerents in the war realized that this war cannot be fight like the previous war, after one year the war going, they realized that this war need to be fought with attrition by exhausting enemy resource. That is after millions of people already dying because they try something too offensive to give shock to the enemy, but it turns out to be failed. Then it become what we already familiar with World War I with trench warfare, where frontline very rarely only move by a meters away, and people stuck inside their trench like that. That is because belligerents start to think that they just need to prolong the war. It could be fought years, but they do not need to do any offensive because it will be too costly for them. They just need to hold their enemy until they're exhausted their own resource. And at the first, we see that the central power, the Germany and Austria-Hungary, they are having an advantage in their own military. They have bigger military, better resource compared to the Entente, the British and France and Russia. They are less prepared for the war. But because they start to use the tactic of attrition, they try to prolong the war as long as it's possible while they are maintaining their own economy, while make sure that they don't go bankrupt by this war. And after a few years, the war going, it starts to change the situation. They already see by economic blocking, by trade blocking, by by cutting off the central power from the neutral trade partner, they start to see that the central power start to exhausting. So that's what happened in World War One. This is so different than the war that happened previously. And what happened in the World War One defined the conflict that happened afterward, even until currently the modern military engagement, like what we see happen currently in Ukraine and Russia. It would be not much different from the situation in since the World War One until currently. There is one passage that I like from this book that one passage this can simply describe by using an analogy of the World War One. So I will read this one. In some ways, it was like the debate of a group of savages as to how to extract a screw from a piece of wood. Accustomed only to nails, they had made an effort to pull out the screw by main force. And now that it had failed, they were devising methods of applying more force, of obtaining more efficient pinchers, of using levers so that more men could bring their strength to bear. They could hardly be blamed for not guessing that only by rotating the screw, it would come out after exertion of far less effort. It would be a notion so different from anything they had ever encountered that they would laugh at the man who suggested. There is a very short passage, but that could explain what happened in the World War One, of how every person, every head of state, every general, they do not know anything about fighting this modern war. Okay. Then I would like to tell about what I dislike about this book is actually not much I dislike. This is a very good book in general. But if people that is cannot handle too much of fact, too much of number, too much of date, year, name of place, it could be overwhelming because this book is not arranged by this book is not arranged by timeline instead of by category. So there is many things that it's leaping to each other. So many years, many dates, many place, name of place, and number put inside this book. So it could be overwhelming for those who do not like to have to read many facts that involve number and date and something. And also it would feel repetitive if we see it that way. Then I will give rating for this book is 4.5 out of 5. Because besides of this so many facts that is put compacted into a single book, this is a very great book. It could be read by not only by those who really like the story, it could be read by layperson. Okay, then okay, the next, okay, I will give to audience. Maybe could have any question regarding this book.
Thank you so much, Edo. However, I'd like to.
Okay.
What is the best key lesson from this book that probably you can take it with you?
Okay. The key lesson, the most key lesson is for the next conflict to happen, it will be exhausted the nation's resource. So we should try as best as possible to avoid same conflict to happen next time because the stake will be higher in this modern war. Any war that is fought will be fought by the whole nation. So it will be insurance of destruction for the victor and also those who lose the war.
Okay. Now, I would like to open the floor for questions from the audience. Let's go.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Donald?
So how did the war end? Because the title is War of Attrition. So I would like to know how the First World War ended in terms of the War of Attrition.
Okay. So after 1 year of conflict, the Entente or the Allied, we would say the Allied, they changed the tactic to make the central power, the German Austria, exhausted. They make sure that they don't have a fresh man to fog the battlefield, because after the man is running out, they would not have their own power to fight. And then they also need to win their home front battle by ensuring that their economy is still lasting, while the opponent, the central, they're exhausted their economy. At the last year of the war, there is so many crises in the home of the central power. They could not get enough food to feed their own people and to feed their own big military. Then they start to have rationing. They have no access to tropical resources that is so important to war, like rubber, jute and fiber and everything. They cannot get all this resource, so things become so expensive for them. They went into bankruptcy. That is how the war ends, by exhausting all the resources of the opponent.
Any other question? I have a question. Okay. All right. So my question is, what influenced this change? Like, how come suddenly the way they fight the war changed in World War I compared to the previous one?
Okay. First, the major change is the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution also permit there is a class of a banker that would finance the war effort. So the financial support for the war become higher, because there is a bank, the bank and financial institution that also profiting from the war itself, and also could have make a bigger resource for any belligerent in the war. Then the second is the stake is too high for a nation to lose a war. They also have population that is way bigger. So as the war going, they thought as long as they could give fresh men into the battlefield, it will be secure for them. They just need to give a hard offensive to shock the opponent. But turns out also with the modernization of weapons, where previously war fought by man to man, by close quarter and long distance by rifle, then war start to become mechanized with the support of big gun, artillery gun. So man-to-man battle become obsolete, unlike the previous war. Then the human cost become cheap, because personnel could be easily killed by artillery bombing and by machine gun. So there is when they realized that just putting more men into the battlefield would not help them. Even in the first few months, there is already millions of people died because they tried to fight the old way.
Okay. And I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
You said that there's not really changes in the way wars are fought, even until now. Right? Then how would you explain the decisive win that happened in World War II, for example? If they actually implemented the strategy of war of attrition,
yeah,
then they didn't even have to use atomic bomb. They can just exhaust Japan's economy or Germany's economy. Why they decided to drop the bomb, which resulted in a decisive winning, and that's totally different from World War I, right?
Okay, for the World War II, actually at the end of time, it's also about exhaustion. The Allies already exhausting the result of the Axis power. But if we see that there is only two sides that is fighting, which is the Allied and the Axis, but turns out there is three sides fighting in that war, in World War II. Not officially fighting, but the Soviet and the USA also have their own conflict to itself. So it's like who would be more victorious. So the atomic bomb actually they decide to use atomic bomb is because Soviet already planned to have a ground landing to Japan, ground invasion, and Japan already crippled anyway. So it's just about the matter of time before Japan surrendering. Even without the atomic bomb, they will also surrendering. But it's the matter of who they will be surrendering. If they lose by ground invasion, yeah, Japan could be split by two, like what happened to Korea. Yeah.
Okay, and we also have Fajar talking about his take on this, right? Actually, I've heard about this before. Also, in Tokyo, people did not surrender. That kind of confused American soldiers. They did not surrender. What are we gonna do? We keep on killing them?
Can I comment on that?
Yes, go ahead, Don.
Yeah. So for your question, because I read about this in a book titled "Killing the Rising Sun" by Bill O'Reilly. So the main reason why they dropped the atomic bomb, it was an ethical question actually, because they would kill a lot of civilians. But they eventually decided to do it to save American lives, because when they tried to conquer Okinawa the old way, Okinawa is just a small island on the south of Japan. They got tens of thousands of casualties. So imagine the mainland Japan. It is just a small island. So because of that, they decided to drop the bomb.
Why two bombs now? It just one bomb, it was already decisive.
No,
Why they dropped two bombs?
Because
3
Japan
days
didn't want to surrender.
Oh, even after the first bomb, they did not surrender?
No. So Japan was very, very fierce. They never surrendered.
Very banzai.
After two bombs and the emperor decided to surrender, there was a revolt within the palace. They tried to hostage the emperor, take the emperor hostage to reverse the decision.
Yeah. Well, understandable. They really do not like losing, right? Even when they lose, they decide to kill themselves over losing. I mean,
in fact, Japan never lost a war in thousands of years, so they want to keep
that. Oh, okay. Thank you. Any other question for Edo or opinion?
Maybe just comment. Actually, this is quite related to Russia versus Ukraine. So currently, I mean, the military of Russia has such overwhelming compared to Ukraine. But why don't they conquer Ukraine already? Because they play safe. They don't want to deal with so many casualties. And as the result, it becomes a war of attritions. The tank don't have the force, and the Ukraine aim the fuel, and basically it becomes the war of attritions. And last time I heard, Putin threatened that they will increase the severity of their invasions, which means maybe more civilian people that will be lost. I am afraid that. That's my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, that's also what we see currently in Ukraine, because if Ukraine play the war of attrition, they need to exhaust Russia, which is impossible with current resources that Russia has. So they just try to not making any general offensive. They just try to defend as best as possible and prolong the war if possible until there is a diplomatic solution. I think that's what we see with the current Ukraine-Russia situation.
Do you think sanctions will actually hit Russia?
Sanctions sure hit Russia, but we also know that even though Russia already weakness compared to Soviet Union, but Russia is still a great power. So actually sanction to Russia is sanction to itself. So any nation that sanction Russia, they also sanction themselves. That's it like that, because Russia is also a great power.
Yeah, the last time when it happened, the farmers of France actually took the street because they could not export their vegetables to Russia, and a lot of them, I think the prices drop or something like that. So hurt themselves. Whew! All right, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Can always see how it will pan out.
If it's
Yeah.
still have time.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, one more time, please. One more.
Yeah, just comment about the sanctioning. I think this time is different because for the first time ever, the central bank of a major economy is sanctioned. It has never happened before. Only happened to Venezuela, Iran, small countries. So the central bank has a reserve of $600 billion and it gets frozen, a foreign currency. So on a personal level, I think a similar an analogy is that I have a lot of savings in the bank and suddenly I cannot do anything. I cannot take it, I cannot transfer it. I can only use the hard cash on my hand. So this time I think it's different, but how different we will see the effect. But the sanction is very, very hard and devastating.
Yeah, however, Iran survived for decades without that. We don't know though with Russia. It's just hard. We can only see how it will turn out, right? I think what I heard, Russia just wants a guarantee that that Ukraine will not join NATO. That's it. After he got the guarantee, he will pull out. But don't know. Because he doesn't want nuclear in his backyard. If Ukraine becomes a member of NATO, then, a lot of NATO weapons are accessible in Russia's backyard, something like that. But don't know. Let's see. Right. So do we have more questions for Edo? No? Okay. Now let's go to Donald. Yes, with the permanent of personality is not permanent. Yes. All right. So before we go that we do that, applause for Edo. Yes. Now let's go to Donald.
Thank you, Pipit. So the book that I would like to present, the title is Personality Isn't Permanent by Benjamin Hardy. And the questions tell us about the book you want to discuss. What's the best key lessons from it? So this book is actually against many personality tests. There are many personality tests. Well, like Myers-Briggs is the most famous one, and there are many others. And many people make decisions in life, career, and so on based on the result of those personality tests. This book, in essence, says that what is important is not your personality, and in fact, your personality is not permanent. What is important instead is your aspiration and your goals. In fact, if you believe in the personality type, that is a self-limiting beliefs, and that is the subtitle of the book, Break Free from Self-Limiting Beliefs and Rewrite Your Story. That is the subtitle of the book. So if I say that I am an introvert, for example, so I cannot take a role that is usually for an extrovert people, then I'm limiting myself. So that is an example. Or I'm just not good at this because I have a logical mind, for example. So there are a lot of limitations that we can experience if we believe the personality types. So that is the essence of the book. And the key lessons that I get from the book is that, yeah, I agree with the main thesis of the book. That because I experienced it myself, in the past, I often thought based on personality test results, oh, I'm like this, so I must do this. But that is actually the opposite of what should happen. What should happen, according to the book, is that we need to have an aspiration, a purpose, and then based on that, we are going in that direction, regardless of what the personality type or test say. So why is it that so common? Why is it so common that people believe in personality types? It is because in psychology, there are many psychologists that put too much emphasis on the past. So if in the past you did this and this, then that is you. That is in a sense is personality test. The test result is based on what happened in the past. But the book says that actually we should focus on the future, not the past. Right, so that is the key lessons. Actually, there are many lessons, but I think we don't have time for deeper, maybe in the questions. Next, is there anything you don't like about the book? I actually like it a lot because it is counterintuitive but convincing. But there are a few statements in the book that I disagree. So, for example, one example is, however much money you make, that's how much money you are committed to making. Your commitment in life is reflected 100% by the results you are currently getting. So if we get certain results, that shows that our commitment is at that level. I think the motivation of the author is that there is no excuse. So if your result is at this level, it means your commitment is at that level. But I disagree with this because there is another element. This is discussed in another book. The book title is Thinking in Bets, B-E-T-S, bets, not D, but T. And it says that there are two main factors for any result. The first is your effort, and the second one is luck. So luck is very important. And that's why I disagree with this, because it puts outcome only based on your commitment, regardless of the role of luck. But the very few statements that I disagree, mostly I agree. So that's point number 2. Next, what is your rating out of 5 stars? I'll give it 5 out of 5 because of its eye-opening. And next, any questions from the audience?
No. Any questions about Donald? About the book that Donald read just now? Personality is not permanent.
I just want to ask. So it sounds like the book is mostly about the opinion of the author. So I would like to know if actually the book is presented like behavioral study, more like behavioral study, or more like conveying of personal opinion. That's what I want to know.
Okay, thank you, Edo. It is a popular science book, so it is not a paper or thesis. He has a PhD in psychology, and he writes in the book that many psychologists will not agree with this, but he gives the reason why. Because many school of psychology put too much emphasis on the past. So if your past is like this, then your behavior is like this. But he has different opinion. It is about that your future actually has more influence. And actually, he mentioned also about some personality tests. The most scientific one, according to the author, is Big 5 personality traits. So there are many personality tests, and according to the author, the one with the most scientific, the best scientific background is called the one called Big 5 personality trait. And that is not about personality type. Instead, actually, we are in a spectrum or continuum. So there are 5. We are maybe in the midst of between 2 and 3, something like that. So not type as fixed categories. And the author or the creator of the most popular personality test, Myers-Briggs, they have no background in psychology whatsoever. So no scientific background. Okay, so that's what I answer.
Well, actually, Donald just turned the table just now. It's the person who made the test was the one who didn't have background, not this person. Right?
Yeah. Actually, Myers-Briggs personality is disregarded by many behavioral scientists because it's like so arbitrary by taking the theory of Jung, and also like psychologists and behavioral science is a very recent field of science. So what happened 50 years ago, it's not even science, maybe. It's more like something that people think about.
Like horoscope. Like horoscope.
And only recently it become a field of science with experiment, with observation and everything.
But you know why it's so popular though?
Yeah, maybe it's just giving some self giving self acceptance. That's why that's making it so popular. Because
Yeah.
people like to be a part of category, right? They always
Yeah,
like to be
they
part
like
of
reading.
community.
They like reading about themselves.
Yeah.
They thought like this will help me find my jati diri or my true identity. So they need an external affirmation. Oh yeah, this is so me. Something like that. I think so. But anyway, I have a question for Donald. Donald, I have.
Sorry, Pipit.
Yes.
I would like to share a quote regarding your comment just now. So people like personality test because they want to find themselves. There is a quote in the book by George Bernard Shaw. It says, "Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself."
Nice. That's actually really strong. Yeah. So we don't discover. We are not a discoverer. We are an inventor of our lives. Yeah. Nice. Now, Donald, I have actually discussed about a book called The Courage to be Disliked before, if you remember. And this book was written based on a psychological belief. I think what was called something start with D.
Disagreeableness.
Oh, no. Deism. It's the opposite of Freud. It's the opposite of Freudism. Same thing, talking about people focus too much on the past and how it will actually affect the future, right? And this was actually laid out in science by Sigmund Freud, right? So even talking about childhood and all of this, and somehow has some huge impacts on our future. And then the Courage to be Disliked, based on that psychological, the opposite of Freudism, talk about no, the only thing that matters is right now, and from here out on or something. But I need to find the name of the theory. Okay, right. From German as well. Right? Okay. So is it mentioned in the book, the name of the theory?
No, that I remember of.
Okay. Now I have another question. Sorry, if there anyone else have questions before I...
Can I add some comment?
Yes, go
Actually, my opinion, maybe, I think that, in my opinion, personality is not, its personality can be changed, but to a certain extent, not completely changeable. For example, the very introvert into super duper extrovert, not really like that, because there is like a genetic component that cannot be changed, in my opinion. At least in my experience, I am actually maybe a very introvert. In Big Five test, I got like 5, which means like very, very introvert. But once I joined Toastmasters, I get so much communication skills that many people think that I am an extrovert. But in my heart, I am still an introvert, but I just have the capability to be extrovert. So
the term for that, Fajar. You don't change personality. You are a situational extrovert. Situational introvert. You can be both, depends on the situation. I think.
Yes.
But that's an anecdote. I kind of disagree. Just like with what Fajar said, I don't think our personality is decided by our genes. Yeah, if that's the case, then it's again not nature versus nurture debate has happened for 2,000 years. I don't think we will settle it today. But for me, yes, there is some nature, but nurture is the most important in this case. So yes, we can change personality. Elon Musk was a very, before he became successful, and now totally a different person, at least from the outside. So, Donald, you have something to say?
Yeah. Well, one thing that the book against for is labeling ourselves. So, for example, one statement that the book disagree with is, I am pursuing this because I am an extrovert. So a quote from the book: labels can serve goals, but goals should never serve labels. Goals serve labels, for example, like that. I am pursuing this because I am an extrovert. There is a label, and then I match my goal with that label. So the book disagree with that, and I also disagree with that. But what can work is that, for example, I have a goal. I want to become a writer. So I start calling myself a writer despite not writing yet. In that case, the label serves the goal because by thinking of myself as a writer, I will be more motivated to write. So it's the different direction. But if I say, I can never do that because I am not good at writing, so that is not true according to the book. And that is called a fixed mindset by Carol Dweck, a psychologist. Okay, so yeah, that's it.
So back to the self-limiting belief, yeah? Self-limiting beliefs. Yeah, thank you so much. Now, is there, Donald, is there anything mentioned whether talent can be included in personality in this case? There are people who usually said, oh, I don't have talent for this, that's why I'm not doing that.
He doesn't use the term talent, but something similar to that is mentioned in the book. I don't have talent for this, so I will not do that. The term that is used by the author is trauma. So in the past, maybe we try to do something. For example, maybe try to play a musical instrument, and maybe our teacher or our friend told us, you play so badly, you are just not talented at this. So the term that the author used for that is trauma. Because someone told us something bad, you cannot do this, you play badly, and we believe that. We want to avoid that kind of pain in the future, and because of that, we choose the safe route of not playing musical instrument again. So, yeah, that is the take of the author.
So it's somehow in the book as well, that we should not limit ourselves just because we feel like this is not my talent, or we feel like the trauma, someone told me, I don't have talent for this, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's not in the personality range. It's outside.
Yes.
So is it categorized as personality in the book, or is it not? The trauma you said.
Yeah, so personality is just a byproduct of our goal. In the pursuit of our goal, we change our identity, and our identity changes our actions, and our actions will change the so-called personality. And in the pursuit of goals, of course, what you call talent, but the author doesn't use that term, is also included. The term that is used is that because of the self-limiting belief, you do not develop the skills that you are supposed to have in order to achieve your goal.
Can you repeat that, Donald? With the goal, we change our personality, and then because we change our personality, we change our action, and from action, we change our what?
Yeah, the sequence is goals to identity, identity to actions, actions to personality.
Oh, okay. Goal to identity, identity to action, and then action to personality.
Yes.
Okay, I think this is very useful, guys. I'm taking note just now. Right. Is there any question? Other question for Donald? No? Okay, so give applause to Donald. Now let's go to saw. We'll talk about a hammer. I think Fajar. Oh, no, not hammer. Edge. Slight edge. For some reason, it's in my mind, it was slight hammer. Okay, so let's call let's call Fajar. We'll talk about his book, Slight Edge.
Okay. As usual, I will use some PPT. Where is it? Okay. So today I would like to share with you my review about this book. This is another self-help, but I think that I have read so many self-help books, and in my opinion, this is one of the best, some of the very best. Okay, so let's just move on. Okay, now, yeah. Okay, so maybe I will tell you a story first. So this man, Jeff Olson, when he started his life, he didn't really care about his future. So when he was in college, he decided to uh, spend so much time partying with their friends, with his friends in the summer, in the beach. Even even he was called the handsome beach guy, but basically he's a poor beach bum. And eventually he dropped out of the college. And in order to make a living, he decided to do a part-time job, doing cutting grass in the Gulf Valley, you know. And at that moment, he looked at rich people and he was wondering, why do I cut grass like now, unlike them who enjoy their lives? So at that point, he decided to change his life, to change his direction of his life. So from the beach bum, he turned into a super ambitious guy. He joined MBA, he got straight A's, he joined a company, he became the leader, and then he found a company, he started a business, and it was successful. But then, after a few years, the business that he started went bankrupt. And even at the end, his car was taken away by the debt collector. And he was confused. What's wrong? I have changed my life so much from a beach bum into a super successful guy. But why do my life turn like this? And after some thought, he finally realized that the answer is the slight edge. Okay, what is slight edge? Oh, wait, my computer is okay. Basically, if I can summarize in 2 sentences, simple decisions made consistently over time turn into success. Simple errors made consistently over time turn into failure. So there are some words here, let's break it down. Simple, which means the simple decision that we have in every moment. For example, oh, I have just returned from work. I feel like I want to watch YouTube for 15 minutes lah, okay lah, something like that. Or, I think it's better to take a cigarette. I am already overwhelmed by my job anyway. Or, I'm too lazy to cut my, brush my teeth. Tomorrow is okay lah, something like that. So, but actually those are very simple decisions, right? It's very simple. And maybe we think that they are insignificant, but actually the author says those simple decisions are actually the very, very significant. Okay, because maybe there is something that is called compounding effect. And then maybe you have to say it. Oh yeah, let's say that if you stop procrastinating or watching YouTube 15 minutes, you can spend that for exercise. And by having exercise, maybe you will have better mood. Better mood means better career, indirectly, something like that, or better relationship. And those positive effects become a ripple effect to so many areas of our life. And what is the start? Well, the start is just stop watching YouTube for 15 minutes and doing exercise. That's the idea, okay? That's the idea. And no, I don't know what happened with my computer. Hello, come on, let's full screen. But anyway, so basically this book teaches that the mundane choices that we have are actually significant. Not only because maybe we think that we can do it tomorrow, but we don't have tomorrow, right? Who said we have tomorrow? We only have today, and the only choice or the only opportunity that we have is today, right now. There's no other opportunity. what another thing that I like is that this book teach us, at least teach me, the self-discipline, simple self-discipline through understanding, not just do it. You have to pursue your dream, work super hard, 10x, something like that. No, no, no. This book teach simple things, like maybe washing your teeth every single day, or read positive books instead of scrolling on TikTok, or something simple, and which eventually become a habits, and that habits will turn into so many positive things in our lives. And these books also teach about understanding how long change takes place, because in this modern era, we want everything to be quick. Oh, I want my package to be in my home in 2 days. I don't want to wait 7 days. Or I want this product to work in 1 week. I don't want to, spend so much time diet. But actually, change is much, much slower than we want, than we expect. For example, making a habit, actually, it takes on average 61 days, which is not short, skincare, for example, skincare, actually, it takes 3 months to finally show its effect. Or going to the gym, it needs like consistent of 3 months or 4 months to eventually, so we can see the physical changes So basically the change that we want is slow, much slower than we want. So we cannot expect that we do this, we follow the advice, oh, tomorrow I will be super rich. No, not like that. But if we do it consistently, eventually we can reach that goal, and it will result in compounding effect. Okay, what are the questions? Here's the question.
In the chat box, the first one is, because you have to talk about the basically lesson, is there anything you don't like about the book?
There is no Indonesian version of this book somehow. And although I think that this book is really good, but I don't see the Indonesian translation for this. And what else? Actually, I like this a lot. I really a lot. And this is very practical. As it's something that we can do directly. What's your opinion of 5 stars? Maybe 4.8, because it's really good. Really good. Any question from the audience?
Yes. Okay. Before I ask my question, as usual, I would like to give chances for other people. You have any question for Fajar's book? I thought it was called Sledgehammer. That's why it's Slight Edge.
Slight Edge.
H. Yes.
Just slight edge toward the positivity or toward positive actions will result in significant positive results.
I have a question, Fajar. How did it change you? Is there anything that you changed after reading the book?
Yeah, I think that because I understand that the significant things, the mundane things, the mundane choices are actually important, it kind of motivate me or push me not to do the bad things that I know. For example, I used to procrastinate washing dishes. I dislike washing dishes, but at least it pushed me, just do it, 30 seconds done.
Oh, but then you just said, just do it. That's the opposite of what your book said.
I mean, I understand that it will be significant, although maybe I cannot see the direct impact nggak kelihatan langsung efeknya gitu.
Or maybe you have read a lot of books on habit form. Right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yes, we noticed.
Because that's my issue.
The book is about habit forming. So what makes this book so special? compared to other books about habits?
I don't know. Maybe it's like teaching me that these significant, these mundane things are important. So, for example, that I had choices. Usually, I watch game videos, maybe out of habit, out of conscious actions. Suddenly, I type YouTube, Then, but now I have some kind of resistance that these mundane choices of watching YouTube 15 minutes is actually significant. Which maybe 15 minutes of YouTube means 15 minutes of cardio. And that cardio can mean something else. Positive mood or anything. Or maybe 15 minutes means cleaning your laundry. Yeah, right? And laundry means benefit under benefit. So yeah, the change of positive result. But at the same time, if we make some errors, the result is also compounding.
Any other question? Or yes, Angela? Oh, I thought she was like, oh yes, she said like that. Okay, no?
No? Usually people debate, but I think no.
I want to debate you just now, but I'm just thinking whether I should continue or not.
Up to you.
No, here, Fajar. If it's that easy, what makes you think there are so many books have to write about it? And if the solution from the book is, you need to understand the effects of compounding effects, and then suddenly magically make people do it, then
actually, I can answer that.
It shouldn't be that easy,
There are two kinds of understandings. The first one, the understanding through intellectually, and understanding through, I don't know what's the word, insightfully. What's the difference? The first one means, oh, I know that's true, but it's just in my brain. And the second one is it's true in my heart. But I think, this book inspired me in the second way. Maybe if you read this, I don't guarantee that you will reach the second understanding through insight, but at least it works for me.
Understanding through insight versus understanding through heart.
Yeah, I mean, logical understanding versus insight understanding, or heart understanding.
Oh, insight is the hard one.
Yeah, okay. Insight is the hard one.
Yeah, people usually go with the logical understanding first. Right?
Yeah, but
okay, I want to lose weight, and logically I have to burn calorie, blah 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 every day. So that's logical.
But doctors, so many doctors are overweight and addicted to nicotine. So that's understanding through logic.
That's interesting. All right. Okay, so I will look up about this understanding by insight, through insight, and understanding through logic. Okay, maybe there will be number 4 here. After ethos, pathos, logos, we have the Latin word for heart. I don't know what. Okay. All right. So, is there anything else?
Just want to give a comment, if I may.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of Warren Buffett, but in a contrary way. So Warren Buffett has one habit. Warren Buffett, the investor, he has a very bad eating habit. So his favorite food is ice cream, burger, French fries, and when asked by someone, why do you keep that kind of habit? He said that once my doctor told me to stop, but my doctor died a long time ago. so I'm still alive and healthy. So yeah, just I don't know.
It's lucky.
Yeah, maybe that's lucky. So yeah.
Obviously, no effort to be healthy, just luck then, because based on your book, it's effort plus luck that will come outcome. So
yeah, so maybe it's very lucky.
Yeah.
Because based on the book, we must be eating very healthily.
By the way, how old is Wafat?
Warren Buffett? Maybe 90
years old.
Oh my God.
And still an active CEO.
Oh my God.
Just like Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is 91, and then now making a new movie even, you know? Like these people are, what do they call that? Very active senior citizen. Okay, thank you so much. So give applause to Fajar. Yes. Now, just out of curiosity, can everyone responded to Zoom thumbs up if you find it hard to form a good habit? If you find it hard to form a good habit, can you thumbs up on Zoom like this? Yes, Pipit. Only 2 people? Oh, Fajar. So, Angela have no problem. Oh, okay. Rizka, you don't have problem forming good habit.
No, I have a problem too.
Okay.
Me too.
You don't have Google, you don't have Zoom hand.
Wait, Zoom hands. All right, done.
Okay. So that means it's almost everyone find it hard to form a good habit, yeah? Yeah. The only person I know easy for her to find a good habit, to form a good habit is just Rona, who is Michael's mentor, right? Michael's mentor, Rona. I think she self-proclaimed though. I'm not sure in
My club president.
Yes, your club president. So I think she said it was easy. Just do it, or 5 a.m. waking up at 5
She's
a.m.
just special.
She's just did
But like during the process, like when she started to started a new habit, like I was still her mentor at the time. Like I knew at that time she didn't yet have that habit, but like along the time during the process, like wow, how could you manage it? Like the habit, like for example, writing the books and other things. Like wow, okay. Like I asked how, and she said just do it.
Just do it. I also asked her, and she said, just do it. There's no way, there's no alternative. Okay. Well, Nike has been saying that for years, and then people still cannot do it. All right, thank you. Now let's go to, I know that no one else mentioned the book titles they want to share, but I would still want to ask them just to be sure. Michael, do you have any book you want to share?
Not today, so I'll be upset first.
Today. Can you share one knowledge you find out this month with us? Can be anything. Something new?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is the myth about actually. Oh yeah, I got it. Like I had practiced piano since I was 4 or 3. If I'm not mistaken. And then I learned the traditional way until like 10 years ago. I completely stopped playing piano and practicing. But like yesterday, I started again, and I felt that the progress is much faster. It broke the myth that children learn language easier or faster, learn music easier as well when we were a kid, but it's true some parts. But on the other parts, during the if we are adults, we have the logic logos to make it faster. So we can find the shortcuts. We can find the most efficient thing. So okay, so I think now I'm learning something new again, because I forget everything, many things, and I learned the new thing that I didn't learn before, and it feels easier and faster compared to when I was 10 years ago, 11, 20 years ago. So thanks to the technology as well. I mean, so it at least it denies the myth of adults. It's very difficult to start learning something new.
Wow, good for you, Michael. Yes. So, does it mean that you, as you grow older, you become a better learner then?
In some part, yes. Maybe I have the experience same with the language as well. Like easier when we have the thing that Tim Ferriss and Josh Kaufman taught us about learning anything in 20 hours and also 4 hours works buddy. There, Tim Ferriss also mentioned about the meta learning. I think the key is at the meta learning. I tried it with the new skills that I don't actually need it for, such as languages or music, but it works. Not bad.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Do you learn piano because your parents asked you to do it?
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah, like I hated playing piano because it consumed my movie time, my playing times when I was a kid. Until like in junior high school, I started liking it. So I learned by myself, and then high school, university stuff.
Just curious, why do some Chinese family ask their children to learn piano? Just
Good
curious.
question. I didn't know either.
I have seen some patterns. I don't know
Is
why.
it for church? Is it for
No,
church?
actually, it's no. There's actually a economical reason behind that in my family. Actually, one day, if I didn't have any skills or anything, I can be surviving by playing piano or anything by playing music. If I didn't have anything, say my house burned down, I don't have the skills. At least they gave me the skills to play piano. That's what they said once.
They want him to be a musician.
In Indonesia, no.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it needs to be top 5% to make money well, right?
Oh, thank you, Michael. I will tell my
question for Michael.
Yes. Go ahead, Dono.
Can you explain a bit more about meta learning? You mentioned that, right?
Oh yeah, meta learning.
And how?
Oh yeah, they have the forwards thing, but I forgot the what it shows. What's the complete form? But the key is breaking down the parts of smaller parts of the skills that you want to have. For example, about public speaking. If we don't have the skills, usually we learn, okay, I want to learn about the public speaking, but I don't know exactly what I'm about to learn. For example, in Toastmaster, we learn about okay, now first thing you need to write the script first. It's not about the public speaking, but it's about creating the script. And then second, about how you convey, how about the eye contact. So breaking down the smaller parts, the tiny parts, and practice the parts one by one. And then we reassemble together. So in the end, you get the skills that you want, like the normal skill, the public speaking skills, but it's actually about writing skills, about communication skills, about the tonal variety. Yeah, so yep. Eagle Toastmaster is also open for a new membership. If everyone wants to. Yeah, that's it. Oh, it answers. I think it's breaking down the parts.
Okay, thank you.
The smaller one. Thank you.
Is it quite the opposite of what we learned of what meta is? Meta is like the overall. That's meta. But in the definition of meta learning is actually breaking down in small parts.
Exactly. But
in
here,
education, we call it scaffolding.
Scaffolding. Oh, okay. Step by step.
I think the term meta here means the ability to learn about learning.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, learning how to learn
anything into small parts and then combine them later.
It doesn't work to read the whole book of Josh Kaufman. Just watch his YouTube. It explains the same. It's more efficient instead of reading the whole book. Like why? No need.
Michael, I think if Diaz is here, so I will mention the book range. It really depends on what field you want to study. If it's something that needs a bit physical and very predictable, like golf, for example, we need to learn it since we were a kid. That's kind of built up. And if it's the other one, it's not. What's the name, Diaz? Do you remember? Yes. Okay, it's not here. But no, sorry. Okay, well, there are two types of skills, right? The one that actually through the feedback is immediate and you know exactly, just like chess, golf, all of these are predictable. Yeah. So if you learn it since you were young, you get the advantage. That's a head start. But some other skills like tennis, I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think tennis. is you cannot get the immediate feedback from your, So that one, you can learn it at any age. And then thank you, Michael, for mentioning about this particular knowledge. I will tell my violin teacher, because my violin teacher said I should have learned it since I was a kid, so my fingers would know the form. Because your finger would look like this. You will pull a muscle, so it's too late for me to learn it.
It's true though. Maybe it's in the like tennis one, the muscle.
Muscle, yeah. Okay. Now I would like to thank you, Michael. Now let's go to Angela. You want to share a book or knowledge?
I'm all about nice observation today. Maybe next time.
Any like information you just learned maybe this week?
Recently, I am contemplating about the small habits and micro habits, but I still in the stage of thinking about it. So I haven't practiced it yet. I haven't implemented it yet to any of the skills that I want to learn. But I think after I'm done thinking about it, then I will just do it. But yeah, it's like ringing in my ears recently, like what is that? Earworm, and also Fajar has talked about it as well. So yeah, I've done I've written some of it. It's like by Jim Rohn, motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. And I'm writing down some of the words that I want to contemplate. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Angela.
Thank you.
Let's go to Desali. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to share information, knowledge, or a book?
Oh, maybe next time.
Even one piece of information is enough?
Maybe next time. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries, no problem. Now let's go to Diaz. Can you also maybe through voice share something? Diaz can only type. Okay, we'll go to Diaz a bit later. Now let's go to Rizka. Rizka, do you want to share any? Okay. So.
Okay. I couldn't show my face somehow. I don't know, webcam or something. So I want to share a book, but I think it's not the book that is what matters. What matters, I guess, is the knowledge. The book is by an astronaut that's before he was kind of famous, Colonel Chris Hadfield, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. Basically, he tells specific stories about how he was dreaming about being an astronaut, and then how he learned through the process in Houston, and then how he got onto space and then coming back. He's in that book really clearly sharing it. But what I have, that one piece of information that got me is about how we face fear, because in every day we always have this fear about something, and then most of us don't want to come. There are a lot of, just like habit, fear is something that we when we don't face it, we never thought that we will be afraid of it, but once we are in that positions, like we'll be startled. And what his advice is basically to have a lot of to make it like a very Michael tells about meta learning. So have it in a very small chunks of fear. For example, what makes you afraid of this fear? For example, I'm afraid to not or feeling stuck, I mean, when I have a situation where someone is asking me, or I have stumbled upon an obstacle and I have no clue what to do about it, or I get lost in a street or somewhere, that's what my fear, because I think like I want to have that sense of control. So he mentioned that he have a fear of heights. Astronaut fear of heights is very unlikely, but he did. And he says that during the process of being an astronaut, they taught him a lot about how to make plans, how to have lots and lots of scenarios in a way, and by actually doing it again and again and again, we don't get consumed with the emotion. We get so used to it, our body's like already in a state of automatically. So we have that sense of control, and then we can face that fear. So this piece of information for me, it's very valuable, because yeah, I've been facing my fear a little bit at a time, because being stuck or feeling rejected of sharing something different. So in a way, oh, okay. So when I have in that kind of moment, I feel like, okay, so why am I feeling stuck? Oh, because I actually haven't shared anything. I mean, people that I want to confront actually haven't had a clue that I have these issues. And so I learned to just speak up, and then learn along the way that it's okay to get stuck. You just have to slow down a little bit, and then recess and reassess everything. And so, yeah, I think that's one of this information about this book, to
So
break
title
down.
again, Rizka?
An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. I will share the link on the notes.
Thank
It's
you.
Thank you.
I have a
Thank you.
philosophical question about
Okay.
that.
All right.
You said when our body become automatic, it will give us sense of control.
Yeah.
If our body become automatic, do we have sense of control of what we're doing?
Oh, okay. You very philosophical. Okay. So I think I will give illustration on something that I practice nowadays, is about holding my breath. So when I first started to learn to hold my breath, like 30 seconds, a minute, and a minute and a half, first I got very panic, because because the body, the heart, once you start learning about it, you feel that there's some urge to breathe, and then you go panic, and then you reason you just stuck. But when you got used to it, you feel a sense of calmness. And now the symptom is there. It's like you feel that your lung is like beating very hard, but since it's okay, I feel like, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine, it's okay. And then I feel calmer, and then I get through the like 30 seconds and a minute in a more calm way, and voila, oh, okay, I've done it calmly than before. That's what I said about being automatic and being in control at the same time. So yeah, that's my take on your philosophical question, Buffett.
I think, but sometimes we need to stop the automation, right? To
Yes.
gain the sense of control.
Yes, at the same time.
Can
Yeah.
I ask another philosophical question?
Oh my God. Why me? Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically I have read some articles that some people become I don't know what's the word, what is extinctional crisis, because he realized existential crisis because he realized that he is just a speck of dust of universe. And I wonder that whether the book mentioned about that they realize that they are just nothing in this universe. Hello.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay, that's an interesting question. He kind of mentioned it because if you're out there, I mean, in the ISS, if you look at the window, you see the Earth and then how it moves, and the fact that we still breathing, he's still breathing, and then see the whole thing. I think he mentions like an odd experience, or like a very odd feeling, but at the same time, because being an astronaut, he mentioned, is like having a sense of purpose, because everything that he do out there is helping the NASA and basically the institution to learn how to, for us as human, to one day live outside of the Earth. So I think since he have that kind of shock, and then realizing how his mission out there, he got over it in an instance, because he is also one of the astronaut who have a lot of experiments that he took for the sake of the assignment. So every astronaut, he mentioned, have like this checklist, because not a lot of people go out and then having to test something or to see something. And so I read that he is one of the person who's like having a lot of experiments to be done there. So it's something that you definitely gonna read, because he also mentioned that after he got home from the space, everything feels different, because out there, even just breathing, even moving our hands is very different feeling. And then coming back, and he get to feel the gravitation again and everything. So something you should read. I recommend, just to see and to experience how it feels out there.
It's kind of hard to imagine an astronaut would feel an existential crisis, because they are like 0.001% of the human population who can achieve that, dream of being the outer space, something like that, right? So, but the fact is that he still felt the same way, just like normal people like us. I think I found that fascinating. Okay, so Diaz, do you want to share anything? I asked you earlier. Is it possible to also read what you wrote on the chat box, or? I guess not. Okay, so actually, Diaz wrote it on the chat box that she read Colorless Sukuru. Yeah, it's a very famous book by Harumi Murakami. And she didn't like the way it's 18 plus content, and shocked her. The rating is 3.35, because maybe there's something missing due to translation. And then she wants to read about another book by Harumi Murakami, Kafka on the Shore. All right. So I will have to talk to my students, because this is my students' favorite book. I didn't even know there was 18 plus content in it. So I will talk to them.
Oh, definitely, Mbak Pit.
Really? Okay.
Really.
Maybe that's why they like it. Okay. So I think I will be the last person to present what I read. What I want to present today is not a book, but it's a report by United Nations Environment Program, or UNEP, and it's called Single-Use Plastics: A Roadmap for Sustainability. So I will share it later in the chat box, in the WhatsApp group, if you guys want to read it. You probably wonder why I read this book. It's because I got a second job. So maybe Rizka and Diaz knew about this. I got a new job 2 weeks ago, and I found this job. I mean, I still have my current job working at the Surabaya Intercultural School, but this one I will do outside the working hours. So I was debating about Ukraine and Russia on social media for 7 hours, 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. And I felt so bad because I feel like I wasted my time, right? I shouldn't have spent so much time on social media on a heated issue, and I was debating in public basically. But someone contacted me in the morning, offered me a job because he read my debate arguments. So basically, I was hired to work in an advocacy, and the advocacy is about environment. That's why I was given a lot of report from United Nations Environment Program, and this is the one I just finished reading. Yeah, so Single-Use Plastics: A Roadmap for Sustainability. And what I found shocking here, the first line of the report said, "Plastic is a miracle." Plastic is a miracle, and that's true because plastic saves a lot of lives. A lot of medical equipment use plastic to be, safely used, and also a lot of food poisoning that happened in the past able to be prevented with plastics. And that is just the two things that examples how plastic is a miracle. But because it's a miracle, that's why it's so ubiquitous. Ubiquitous is so cheap to make, easy, it's cheap, and in abundance, basically. People make this in abundance. And the result is we produce 5 trillion of plastics every year. 5 trillion of plastic every year. If we join these plastics all together, it can be used to wrap the whole earth 7 times in 1 hour, in every hour for the whole year. That's how crazy the plastic production is. But of course, there are so many programs that a lot of countries have done, right? For example, there are 60 countries have banned plastic bags in their country. Yeah, in a country such as Rwanda, for example, probably it's unexpected because people see Rwanda as, even more poor than Indonesia, right? So Rwanda is actually one of the pioneers of banning plastic bags. Another country is Kenya, and they were really successful. One of the pilot projects that were mentioned over and over again. However, things that people usually do not realize is they usually ban the wrong thing, including in Rwanda and Kenya after the study. So plastic bags that people use in the convenience store is actually the one people reuse. So we should not ban them. Okay, so it's rare case in a lot of countries when after people get the plastic bag from the convenience store, they will throw it away. It's rare. They usually save it and then use it some other time when there's, for other purpose. So this plastic bag has an opportunity to be reused several times, particularly for throwing away trash, okay? Because we need plastic to, throw away trash from the trash bin, something like that. When there's no plastic bag from the convenience store, now people have to buy plastic bags to be able to do that. And even worse, sometimes people don't even put their trash in the plastic bags. They just burn it, or just throw it in the trash can directly, not contained in a plastic bag. So things like this is something that is supposed to be studied further according to this document. There's not enough data about the effect of a certain policy, including the banning of plastic bags in the mini market. The one that should be banned is, for example, the one which is wet, like, for example, for buying food, for example. So food should not use plastic bags, because plastic bags, after use for containing food, like in Indonesia, maybe soto, right? We cannot use it anymore unless you want to wash your plastic bag. No one does that, right? So this one tried to follow the tones, they say, follow the right plastic to ban, right? And then this document also mentioned, identify the stakeholders, and this is related to number 2, what I don't like about this document. They said the stakeholders only 2, the government and private sectors. They call it public-private partnership, triple P, right? Public here is not people. Public is the public institution, which is government, and then private companies, partnership. I think it's supposed to be public, private, and people partnership. Because a lot of times what happens is the people themselves are not ready for the changes, right? We see so many times there are recycled bin on an airport, right? You have a paper bin, you have food waste bin, and things like that. You know what I saw when I was in the airport? The person who collected the garbage put all of them in the same bin. So this is not a public and private problem. This is the people's problem. The system is there, but for some reason they cannot function within the correct system, or function properly in the correct system. So I think that is what needs to be discussed, but non-existent in this document. Next one is the rating. Yes, I think I would rate this document as 3, because not only that it did not mention anything about the people, but also the steps there is very meticulous, right? Because it's a scientific research document. But there are 10 steps how to reduce and finally ban plastics, right? I think all of these 10 steps are too general without any consideration about the country's finance, for example, or their socio-economic side, things like that. So it's almost like one size fits all type of situation, which I think should not, I don't know, it's very hard to implement in many different countries, you know what I mean? So this is very Eurocentric, in my opinion, assuming that this type of thing will work in Europe, so then should work in other parts of the world. So I think that's why I don't, I find this lacking. Then number 4 would be, is there a question from the audience? That's it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's interesting topic, because nowadays in the media, at least the media that I read, they usually mention about renewable energy. So for fossil fuels, they already have alternatives, renewable energy, but about material pollution, not as much attention. But plastic, as you mentioned, is like a miracle, because it has a lot of good traits, characteristics, and very cheap also. And personally, I do not want to use bags like the great solution, because it is not practical enough and also easy to get wet and all kinds of practical considerations. So my question is there, like in energy, there is renewable energy with solar energy, wind, and so on. Is there a new kind of material, or at least research in the direction to replace plastic with all its positive traits?
Sorry guys. Yes, there is an effort to research on the alternative of plastic material. Actually, that's one of the biggest problems here. It says, because of lack of alternatives, people, although we impose the rule, it still doesn't result in a good way. What happened, actually, it will backfire. For example, when we ban plastic bags in a certain area, I think it's Mexico is one of the examples here. What happened was there's a legal market for plastics, right? There's a black market for plastic because the need is there, but then the government banned it. And another result was much worse. Now they produce plastics that is much thicker, because the plastic that is much thicker is not banned. It's considered industrial purpose. So this is the reason why this document said, when we want to implement a rule, a certain rule like this, we need to study the impact first in a small scale, because probably it's not going to work in a bigger scale, right? So just like yes, there has been research about the alternative to plastic, but it's not near the renewable energy research. Yeah, there's now soluble plastic bags, right? We know that one. So the plastic bag that can dissolve in water, right? But it's not as strong as normal plastic bag.
And is it cheap enough? Yet?
It is cheap enough, but guess what? You need double of the same plastic bags to be able to achieve the same strength of a plastic bag. So because you need double or triple, that would be the cost, of course. Although the cost is the same, but you need three times what is needed. And also, what's another thing they talk about? They talk about, I forgot. There's like, it's scratch the surface just now. The plastic. Oh, if I remember, I will share it. But there was another problem with the alternative to plastic that time. If I remember, I will share it. But yes, there has been an effort, but not as good as the renewable energy effort. Yes. Any other question? Okay. So my next book is the one. Oh yes, go ahead.
Sorry, maybe I can ask Edo's opinion, because I think maybe Edo has a background on this.
Yeah, I only have not question, but my comment, because Pipit said that it's the matter of people, not about the government or enforcement. But what I observed here, it's more of an enforcement, because I also observed that the same people, Indonesian people, let's say Indonesian people who have the habit of not managing plastic waste effectively, when they go overseas, let's say they go to Singapore, the same person, they become someone that is adhering to the local to manage the plastic waste. So they put the plastic, they do not throw it everywhere. They also separate their waste and everything. Once they return back to Indonesia, where the enforcement is weaker compared to Singapore, they become the same person that they throw plastic waste everywhere. They do not consider about separating their waste. And that's also happened with the Singaporean that already have the custom to put the plastic waste in the correct bin and everything. Once they go to Indonesia, when the enforcement is weaker, they become more likely that with the Indonesian people that just put the waste in arbitrary bin. They do not consider about separating the waste and everything. So my opinion is more of an enforcement than the people itself.
Yes, actually, the document also talk about the enforcement, how it's very unlikely in a developing country. For example, if we want to impose fine, denda, just like what happened in Singapore, you cannot impose that in Indonesia. And someone is poor, that's why they burn their trash, then you want to fine them 100,000 because they don't have enough money to pay for, so it's a bit hard. So what they suggest, actually give incentive. So one of the mechanism here that was mentioned is we pay tax for the plastic that we use, but we will get it back after we recycle it. So it's like paying it forward. If you want your money back, you have to recycle it. However, the system mechanism is pretty difficult because there will be a collection center, then you get, put all of these plastic bottles and then you get the money back or things like that. So punishment in a developing country, they somehow have a little doubt. They have a little conviction about it. So what they suggest is give incentive instead of punishment. Yes, and then yes, I agree. When I was taking several people to United States, and we had to rent an apartment. I shoot the whole house, 1 floor, 2nd floor, and I was dimarahin. I was getting chewed by the owner of the house because the people I brought didn't know how to recycle. So they put all trash in the same place, and that shocked the person. So, wow, you guys do not recycle, you put everything in, and then, oh, sorry. And then, yes, that's true. And the people that I brought to US were actually rich. So it doesn't have any connection whether the person's social standing is rich or not, but they can be as, uncivilized when it comes to trash. On the other hand, when I tried to do that in Indonesia, there's only one trash bin, and then someone gave me a plastic bottles. I will put the plastic bottles beside the trash bin, right? But they accuse me of unable to throw away trash properly. Because, no, I'm actually separating the trash. That's why I put it beside the trash bin. But they think nggak bisa buang sampah di tempatnya. So yeah, we have a long way to go about this. All right, so I think that's it, right? No? Any other question or comment? No? Okay, so the next book I'm going to continue reading is The Best Speeches. Okay, so Speeches That Change Our Time. This is quite thick, so I'm going to continue reading this, and I hope I can share it next month.
That was your book last month, right, Pipit?
Yes, it's on the photo.
It's the same.
Sorry, I was muted just now. Yes, but that time I only read it half. Now I will read the whole thing. Because I only read the famous people's speeches that time. Now I will read the less famous people's speeches. Okay, so that is it from me. Can we take group photo, people? Yes? Okay, I will grab a book and then take photo.
Sorry, I cannot. I don't know what happened with my webcam. So.
Okay, everyone ready? One, oh, man. One, two, three. Please, Kadias, you want to join? Oh, no.
Webcam
okay.
doesn't work.
Webcam doesn't work. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Donald, who will be the next moderator?
Maybe Diaz?
Yes, do you want to be the next moderator?
Okay, yeah. Quick answer from Diaz.
Okay, wait. Oof. Wait, oof, my goodness. Oh, no. Sorry, the photo did not work. Sorry, guys. One more time. Sorry. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I will make sure this time. Oh, this one works. Right, so Diaz, do you want to be the next moderator next month?